in praise of the smoke-filled room of power brokers. I am Mark Stewart. It is March 13th, and in the coming months, mark my words, Democrats are going to feel uneasy about Joe Biden as nominee. Maybe as uneasy as many of them do about Bernie Sanders, that has now led them, at least their leaders, to Joe Biden as nominee. Let me make the case for that old-fashioned convention of power brokers. No longer smoke-filled room, sanitized for your protection, but protecting the party from yet another loss to one Donald Trump. What would an open convention do? One that doesn't have a first ballot nominee. Joe Biden might ride in with close, the plurality. But if he doesn't have the majority, it's open. Open to any candidate, past, who has just suspended their campaign and could come back. That includes Michael Bloomberg. Outsiders have been picked by major party conventions, and they've worked out well. James Polk, Warren Harding, Calvin Coolidge, all good presidents who had never campaigned prior to the convention of their parties. Convention deadlocks, can't get a majority into one candidate, and they look elsewhere. This is my suggestion for modern Democrats. Your track record has not been great in the primary era that started in 1972. You've had 3 winners out of it, okay? You got Jimmy Carter, you got Bill Clinton, you got Barack Obama. You've had 5 losers, okay? The primary process ended up giving us George McGovern, Walter Mondale, Mike Dukakis, John Kerry, Hillary Clinton. All in eras where the Republican was eminently beatable. I don't count Al Gore. I think he would have gotten, whether it's the primary or the nomination by convention, the sitting vice president he's a lock for nomination. Plus, we're not sure whether he really won or not. Now, by comparison, if you had an average but untarnished candidate from the outside, one for whom there hasn't been a shooting squad, a circular firing squad against her or him like we've had for almost a year of Democrat competition, I think they roll in as a better candidate to defeat a strong sitting president. How can a convention do it all? With open-mindedness and with polling, okay? Not necessarily in primaries. Poll via internet works fine. Old-fashioned phone polling works decently. And poll not for who's running, but who's best. Throw out lots of possibilities. Put 100 of people in front on an internet survey and use ranked choice voting. Let the survey respondents really rank who they really like, who they sort of like, and even be able to put negatives by who they hate, who they think is really dangerous. You know what this does for a convention? It puts maybe 100 people into play. You'll still choose just one president, one vice president, but 98 others who've been propelled into the mix and will become good campaign allies for the fall. Maybe some of them are destined to be cabinet secretaries. They'll have a role. And that broadens the appeal that the party has, no matter who the nominee is. In other words, forge a team. Don't disparage anyone who's realistically good for government service. That means you keep Bernie Sanders in this, okay? Maybe he becomes the next president's IRS commissioner, okay? He can't do anything really dastardly on the socialism side if he's looking with integrity, which I think he has, at corporate and individual tax returns. Far better than Lois Lerner. Put in Tulsi Gabbard, okay? Get her into the mix, appealing candidate in her own right. I actually have some leftover taffy from her mom, Tulsi Taffy. She's still in the mix. She and all the past candidates ought to be in play. You Democrats get that when you keep an open convention where voters right now in the primaries don't vote for Biden. Again, out of principle that they'd rather see an open convention. Not whether they like Tulsi or Bernie better, but they'd like us to fish for somebody else. I'm Mark Stewart. Nice to have your open mindedness. Have a good weekend.